The Justin Baldoni versus Blake Lively court case, a judge has ruled on the protective order that the ex-CIA agent working for Blake Lively is using tactics to divide and conquer.
A bombshell ruling just dropped in the explosive legal battle between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, and what it reveals about Hollywood's power players will leave you stunned. The judge has finally ruled on the protective order that could determine which shocking communications remain hidden from the public, and which secrets get exposed for everyone to see.
Come out sort of weaponizing the political ideologies that might be trying to dismantle beliefs.
Industry insiders are calling this case unprecedented, with celebrity alliances being drawn and millions of dollars at stake. The truth behind this Hollywood feud goes deeper than anyone realized. The conflict erupted when what should have been a simple film collaboration spiraled into accusations, counterclaims, and a full-blown legal war. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni initially joined forces for the highly anticipated adaptation of It Ends With Us, but something went catastrophically wrong behind the scenes. Sources close to production revealed that tensions began brewing after creative differences emerged, but those disagreements quickly escalated into something far more serious. Baldoni's production company, where studios filed suit against Lively.
Justin Baldoni is now suing his former co-star Blake Lively and her husband Ryan Reynolds,
claiming breach of contract and substantial financial damages. Lively fired back with her own countersuit, alleging inappropriate conduct and harmful business practices. What started as artistic disagreement transformed into one of Hollywood's most bitter feuds overnight. Industry experts point to a fundamental clash of visions for the project. Baldoni, who both directed and starred in the film adaptation of Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel, reportedly wanted to stay true to the book's unflinching portrayal of difficult themes. Lively, meanwhile, allegedly pushed for changes that would soften certain elements and potentially appeal to a broader audience. The power struggle intensified as filming progressed, with both stars holding significant creative influence. Insiders claim that what began as professional disagreements about character interpretation and scene execution gradually devolved into personal attacks and sabotage allegations. By the time cameras stopped rolling, the two stars were reportedly not on speaking terms, communicating only through intermediaries and legal representatives.
There was a feud between the two, and that they positively hated one another.
The judge's ruling on the protective order marks a pivotal moment in this legal showdown. District Judge Louis J. Lyman issued a 9-page decision that carefully balances public interest against privacy concerns. Contrary to what many expected, the judge didn't issue a blanket protection for Lively's communications.
Respect that the judge is going to have a pretty good idea of what's protected and what's not.
Instead, he crafted a nuanced order that allows certain sensitive information to be designated as confidential or attorney's eyes only, while ensuring the core evidence remains accessible.
Finds good cause for issuance of an appropriately tailored confidentiality order.
The judge specifically noted that the court is unlikely to seal or afford confidential treatment to any discovery material introduced as evidence at trial, even if previously designated confidential. This subtle but crucial detail suggests that any texts or emails Lively hoped to keep private could eventually become public record if deemed relevant to the case.
I am more than willing to take every single text message that exists out there.
And what those communications might contain has industry insiders holding their breath. Legal experts analyzing the ruling note its careful construction. Rather than granting either side everything they wanted, Judge Lyman established specific categories of information that might qualify for protection: trade secrets, personal medical information, and certain business strategies unrelated to the case.
Or a third party to whom a duty of confidentiality is owed, and to protect against injury caused by dissemination.
However, he explicitly excluded information directly relevant to the truth or falsity of any allegations in the complaints. This critical distinction creates a challenging path forward for both legal teams, who must now carefully categorize every piece of discovery. The ruling also contains provisions for challenging confidentiality designations, meaning that if either side believes the other is improperly shielding information, They can bring the matter before the judge for individual review.
If a file's labeled confidential or attorney's eyes only, that's as far as it goes. And that'll be their way of trying to keep it out of the public record.
Legal analysts suggest this approach will significantly extend the discovery timeline while simultaneously increasing the pressure for a settlement. At the center of this protection battle are communications between Lively and her high-profile inner circle, including megastar Taylor Swift. Lively's legal team fought aggressively to shield these exchanges, arguing that their release would cause significant competitive, business, commercial, financial, or privacy injury. But what specifically is Lively trying to hide? According to sources familiar with the case, these messages potentially contain damaging discussions about Baldoni's professional reputation, creative abilities, and possibly even his personal character.
And I think the judge is doing a good job so far. So my hope is that he's going to be able to discern between what needs protection and what doesn't.
The protective order identifies specific categories that can remain confidential, including highly personal, intimate information about third parties and medical information, but explicitly excludes anything directly relevant to the truth or falsities of any allegations in the complaints.
Certain mental health issues, maybe issues involving children, the address of their homes, things like that.
This crucial distinction means that if Lively's texts with Swift or other celebrities directly discussed plans to undermine Baldoni or the film project, they could be fair game for discovery regardless of who sent them. The involvement of Taylor Swift adds an extraordinary dimension to this already complex case. Swift and Lively have maintained a close friendship for years, with Swift even featuring Lively's children's names in her songs. Industry observers speculate that Swift may have been consulted throughout the production, potentially offering advice or perspective that could now become central to the legal proceedings. Some entertainment analysts suggest that Swift's enormous cultural influence could be weaponized through subtle public messaging, even without direct statements about the case. The mere association creates a powerful alliance that potentially puts Baldoni at a disadvantage in the court of public opinion.
Taylor Swift is having bad blood with Blake Lively. I am not your dragon.
Other celebrities reportedly drawn into the orbit of this case include Bradley Cooper and potentially Ryan Reynolds, Lively's husband, whose business connections provide substantial financial backing for a protracted legal battle. Perhaps most intriguing is the accusation that an experienced PR agent working for Lively is using tactics to divide and conquer by weaponizing political ideologies. Court documents suggest this agent has been strategically leaking information to specific media outlets.
Former CIA agents with a proven track record of lying to the public, gaslighting the public.
Framing the dispute along political lines to manipulate public perception. This calculated approach aims to distract from the core issues by turning viewers against each other, rather than focusing on the actual evidence.
Attacking somebody. The bully being Blake Lively and our powerful lawyers.
The strategy allegedly involves connecting Baldoni to controversial political positions, regardless of their accuracy, while positioning Lively as representing opposing values. Unnamed sources suggested that several A-list celebrities, possibly including Bradley Cooper, have been recruited to subtly support this narrative through carefully timed social media posts and interview comments. The PR machine behind this case operates.
I'm not asking anyone to not believe. Have them see the
demonstrating how
truth and
Hollywood
determine the
battles are
truth for
increasingly
themselves.
fought in the court of public opinion before they ever reach a legal courtroom.
She can tell the world, you didn't see what you actually saw with your eyes.
Communication professionals analyzing the situation note that both sides appear to be employing sophisticated message control strategies. Baldoni's team has remained relatively restrained in public statements, focusing on professional disagreements rather than personal attacks. This approach potentially positions him as the more reasonable party, while allowing Lively's aggressive PR tactics to backfire through overreach. However, Lively's team benefits from deeper industry connections and the ability to shape narrative through multiple channels simultaneously.
Of people that they don't like, or people perhaps that their clients don't like.
Entertainment journalists report being approached with background information that frames the dispute in terms designed to appeal to specific demographic groups. The resulting coverage creates parallel narratives that rarely intersect, with different audience segments receiving entirely different versions of the same events. This fragmentation makes it increasingly difficult for the general public to discern fact from strategic messaging. The financial stakes in this legal confrontation are staggering. Both sides must prove substantial damages to support their claims, meaning they'll need to disclose previously confidential business information. For Baldoni, this means revealing production costs, investor agreements, and projected revenues for It Ends With Us. For Lively, it means opening up about her fee structure, endorsement deals, and how this dispute has allegedly damaged her brand partnerships. Neither side wants these details public, yet the defamation claims require proving actual financial harm. Industry analysts estimate the combined damages claimed exceed $50 million, not including potential punitive damages. With Lively's connections to husband Ryan Reynolds' lucrative Mint Mobile deal and Baldoni's production company's backing, both sides have the resources for a prolonged battle. But the true cost may be measured in future opportunities lost, as studios become wary of the drama surrounding both stars. Beyond immediate financial concerns lie career implications that could extend for years. Hollywood has historically maintained a complex relationship with public feuds, sometimes rewarding troublesome talent that delivers box office success while quietly blacklisting those deemed too difficult or risky. For Baldoni, who has carefully built a reputation as a thoughtful creator focused on meaningful projects, allegations of misconduct could undermine his brand even if legally disproven. For Lively, who has successfully transitioned from television to film while launching business ventures, the potential revelation of manipulative behavior could damage carefully cultivated industry relationships. Both face the challenge of maintaining marketability while engaged in increasingly bitter legal proceedings. Studio executives watching from the sidelines must calculate not only who will prevail legally, but who will emerge with their commercial viability intact. What happens next will determine not just the fate of these two Hollywood figures, but potentially reshape how creative disputes are handled in the industry. The discovery process will now proceed with these protective guidelines in place, meaning both legal teams must categorize and label sensitive information accordingly. If either side believes the other is improperly withholding evidence or over-designating materials as confidential, they can challenge those designations before the judge. With the judge's firm statement that trial evidence is unlikely to remain sealed, both sides face increasing pressure to settle before their private communications become public record. Legal experts predict at least 6 more months of discovery battles before any potential trial date, with settlement talks likely to intensify as more information is exchanged. The question remains, who will blink first? The procedural path forward involves complex logistical challenges. Each piece of discovery must be reviewed, categorized, and possibly argued over individually. What qualifies as confidential versus attorney's eyes only will likely become a flashpoint, with both sides pushing the boundaries of these designations. Judge Lyman's ruling suggests he will take a hands-on approach to these disputes, potentially reviewing contested materials personally to determine their appropriate status. This level of judicial involvement typically accelerates settlement discussions, as parties recognize the unpredictability of having a third party evaluate their private communications. Entertainment attorneys watching the case suggest that behind-the-scenes negotiations will intensify as discovery proceeds, with both sides calculating how much information they're willing to see become public before accepting compromise terms. The timeline could extend significantly if either side employs delay tactics, though Judge Lyman's reputation suggests limited patience for procedural gamesmanship. Meanwhile, It Ends With Us remains in post-production limbo, with millions of dollars and countless hours of work hanging in the balance. The film adaptation of Hoover's popular novel had been highly anticipated by fans, many of whom now express concern about how the behind-the-scenes drama might affect the final product. Studio executives face difficult decisions about marketing strategy, release timing, and how to distance the film itself from the personal and legal conflict between its stars. Industry precedent suggests the movie will eventually reach theaters, though potentially with a modified promotional strategy that minimizes joint appearances or direct interaction between Lively and Baldoni. The irony that the film itself deals with themes of toxic relationships and breaking destructive cycles has not been lost on industry commentators, who note the uncomfortable parallels between the story's subject matter and the real-world drama surrounding its creation. This high-stakes Hollywood showdown reveals the darker side of the entertainment industry, where creative partnerships can dissolve into bitter legal feuds overnight. As more documents become public, the true nature of both Lively and Baldoni's actions will be exposed for all to see. Whatever the outcome, this case has already forever altered how the public perceives these once beloved stars. The boundaries between private communications and public interest continue to blur in our celebrity-obsessed culture, raising profound questions about privacy, power, and accountability in Hollywood. And as this legal drama unfolds, one thing becomes increasingly clear. In the battle between image and truth, sometimes nobody wins.